What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading world. Guys, we have a lot to talk about because today's price action was beautiful. One of my favorite trading days in a long time, and I'm going to be explaining exactly why in this video. I'm going to be going over all the little details. So if you like this type of content, definitely consider subscribing, leaving a like, following me on Twitter, and checking out my completely free Discord. The link to that is in my bio. Guys, this was an exciting day. I'm excited to do this market recap. So I actually caught a 1R trade today, but I planned out how it could go to 4R. I'm not going for anything more than 1 to 2R right now, but if I was my old DGen self, I definitely would have held this to 4R. And one of the guys, his name's Random Guy, and so shout out Random Guy in the stream. That's his literal name, is Random Guy. But he caught the trade to the 4R target that we were talking about. And so crazy how we caught it in live time. I'm going to actually review the live stream later because it is that cool. But all day long, we were talking about how we had super good generated highs here. So I can actually show you this on my other screen here. If I can figure out which screen is it. Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, check this out. All day long, I was talking about these low resistance highs. We still have this 1 hour gap. But this low resistance liquidity is just so good, I doubt we don't go there. So, all day long, I'm talking about those low resistance highs, and that's essentially our target for the day, is we're thinking, okay, market's going to go there. And why was I bullish? Well, there was actually really a lot of confluences to be bullish. Let me see. How do I switch back? All right. So the first thing is you can see previous day's low is right here. And if you go to the higher time frame, we were in a giant 4-hour fair value gap here. And notice how we sweep out the low once in this fair value gap, and then we sweep out the low again. That is really high probability signature. When you've swept out a low twice within a fair value gap, those are when the best models will form. And so, anyway, you'll note that this was actually previous day's low here. See that? This low is previous day's low, and then you can see we actually get SMT with previous day's low. And if you don't know, SMTs with previous day's low are higher probability. They're literally, there's a name for them. It's called sequential SMTs. But yeah, essentially it's just higher probability SMT, and it's with previous day's low. So along with that, so I'm not going to mark that out, but we sweep previous day's low. Along with that, we're delivering from a 4-hour fair value gap, and then we get a 15-minute change in state of delivery. And so live on the live stream, I was saying, guys, this on its own could be a trade. And you can see I have it marked out here. I'm going to pull it up. So I was considering taking this on the live, where we have this 4-hour fair value gap, SMT with previous day's low, we get this 15-minute change state delivery, and when I enter flow states on a close, typically I don't have my stop loss all the way at the low because I'm anticipating, the whole point of entering it on a close is there's a good reason why we're not going to get a retest. And the reason is because we just have really good liquidity here and here and here. So I wasn't expecting us to retest. And you can see I was actually contemplating entering this on the live. You can see right here. I was contemplating it right here. I have everything marked out. Literally the second standard deviation marked out, first standard deviation marked out. I have everything marked out. I'm contemplating it, but I don't take it because Yeah, because higher time frame is extremely bullish.
I'm still getting better too, and I just wasn't exactly sure if it was exactly what I wanted to do, so I didn't end up taking it. In hindsight, I definitely should have, and I knew it was a good trade.
This is a nice
I had this
5
entire
minute
thing
change
marked out, so I thought that was pretty cool that I had that whole thing marked out beforehand. And so anyway, back to the main screen here. So, 15-minute change state delivery, and we deliver up to those low resistance highs that we were looking at that we really liked. And these are low resistance as well, and so are these. And it's just a giant stop run that happens. So, then as well, I thought something else that was cool is in the beginning of the day, I was outlining the possibility of this being a 2022 model. So you can see how we swept out previous day's low, and then we break this high on the 1 minute, right? And this fair value gap is perfectly at equilibrium of this range here. So I was like, this could be a 2022 model. I didn't actually say that, but I was clearly thinking it, right? I was on the right path to thinking that this could be a 2022 model. And then you can see, if I pull this up from my trading journal here, you can see that this actually did end up being a 2022 model. We have this move, measured the midpoint of it. That's equilibrium. We get a liquidity sweep, SMT with previous day's low. We break the high. We retest that 2022 gap. And we aggressively expand to go run these low resistance highs. And so it's pretty cool that I had all that marked out. Now, I wasn't exactly sure if that's exactly what I wanted to do, but in hindsight, that would have been a really good trade. And so, like I said, guys, I'm still getting better with you guys, but it's super cool that I'm able to mark all this stuff out prior to the actual move happening. I think that's really actually pretty sweet. And anyway, later on, I should show my trade. So the trade that I took was, so I missed this initial entry, right? That was the entry I wanted to get, was that 15-minute change state delivery, but I wasn't super sure because I think the main thing was this wick, but I wanted to enter on a retest, but I should have entered on the close. So that's the main thing, is I was considering entering on the retest, but I should have known based off of liquidity that we probably weren't going to retest it, because this is just really good liquidity here that we're probably going to go run right away. So I had this whole thing planned out that we were going to expand higher. So what I did is, since I knew we were aggressively expanding, a lot of the time when you're in aggressive expansion, these 5-minute fair value gaps are going to have really good, very low time frame models. So the 5-minute aligns with the 30-second. So this is just something I know from screen time, is if we're expanding in a direction, and I know the draw on liquidity is these low resistance highs here, so that I know that that's the draw on liquidity, then I can take a really low time frame trade off of this 5-minute gap, because we have accumulation, manipulation, right? We sweep out that low, and then you can see that this low resistance liquidity perfectly lined up with the 4th standard deviation here. And so I knew that that was the draw on liquidity. And I marked this entire thing out on stream live. I'm going to show you guys that clip from the live stream right now. Here we had this 5-minute gap. And
I like this if we get it.
You can see me. I entered this trade on the close.
Accumulation, manipulation.
And then
Early my stop. My stop is probably below the fair value gap, so we'll see.
And then you can see I have this low resistance.
I'm not set. I'm happy with 1 hour. That's good.
And once again, the guy from the stream took this.
But I'm happy with the win.
And
That's
we go
pretty nice,
expand
honestly.
all the way to those low
Dude,
resistance
you're cooking.
highs.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I didn't take this, but once again, I really wanted to.
Dang it,
But
dang it.
since I'm only going for 1R, 2R, I'm not going for 4R. I didn't take it. But you can see that we do aggressively expand up to those low resistance highs. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next, let's talk about a trade from Hydra. So this actually as well, I had this one marked out too. We had, he took this live. I was very close to taking this, but I was done for the day since I already had my trade. But we had, here you can see he's marked out accumulation, manipulation, and then we retest. So this was a 5-minute. Actually, he takes this a little differently, but my idea was the same exact trade. We had accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and essentially I had the same exact idea. So what we have here is we have a 5-minute fair value gap, and then we got a 30-second change in state of delivery. So what I was looking for is I was looking to enter on the retest. And this ended up working out.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you can see we ended up going to go run that low resistance liquidity. So I thought that was cool. Good trade from Hydra. And I also spotted it in lifetime. Well, I guess I lost that. Anyway. Yeah, and I'll go over the rest of the trades that I had marked out. Oh, real quick, let's look at Dodgy's trade. Yeah, here you can see Dodgy almost took this, but he didn't. And it's reasons like this where I like being able to have a really diverse understanding of the market and not only trade IFGs, because he couldn't take this because it was invalid. We wick out this high here. We wick out this high. And like I said earlier, this was a 2022 model, right? We break structure and we retest the survival gap. And this was also a flow state model. And I haven't gone over that yet, but this was a flow state model as well. Then Romeo makes fun of him because this is a CRT at the bottom. I find that to be funny. Then, anyway, this was the flow state trade that I liked. I don't know if he takes this exactly how I would have taken it, but I liked this because, so I'm going to pull it up here. So, we have a 1-hour rejection block, and then 5-minute change state of delivery. So pretty good low resistance liquidity. We sweep it out. So on the S&P we push into the rejection block, but on Nasdaq we sweep out the low. And so then we go run these low resistance highs, and you can see that I have this measured out in quite a few different ways. You can see if you had your stop loss at the end of the body here on the retest, which I don't typically do, but if you did, we go perfectly to that 4th standard deviation. But I like to put my stop loss at the low when we retest it. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm taking half off at 1st standard deviation, the other half off at the 2nd standard deviation. So that's how I would take this. So I like that a lot. And once again, this was the live trade I took. I took this live. Took half off here. Tried to hold it to TP2, but I put a trailing stop in and I got stopped the rest out. And yeah, still I liked the trade a lot. And once again, another thing about these lower time frame 5-minute gaps is there's so many opportunities. If you know we're expanding higher, these 5-minute gaps are going to provide so many opportunities. So this is another one where we have a 30-second change of state delivery. I I don't like any of these ones because it's not convincing. But this one, once we get this aggressive close, you could enter as a flow state close. And then you can see we expand up to go. And we continue up the rest of the day. And the cool thing about this is we actually just keep expanding and we never stop. So you can see if you entered on this 5-minute, 30-second flow state close, it goes all the way up to the fourth standard deviation, and then it even continues further all the way to the end of this LRLR here. And you would have a lot of conviction because, well, we swept out previous day's low with previous day's low SMT. So this is just a giant, this is a really good entry for the entire day. Sniper entry, actually. So, yeah. I think the point of what I was trying to say is I like seeing the market in more than one way. Dodgy can't take this because it's invalid, but I see it as a 2022 model. I see it as a flow state, so I understand the market. I'm not seeing the market from one perspective. I'm seeing it from a whole bunch of perspectives. So that's why I like it. And then, yeah, I think that about covers it, guys. I hope this wasn't too long, but yeah, looks like Camel ended up taking this, actually. He actually ended up taking this inversion, and he took it up to this high, so break even. And this ended up working out for him. So he took this even though it was technically invalid, and so pretty sweet that worked out for him. But yeah, that about covers it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know how I can make these better. And if you made it to the end, say distribution. There we go. Distribution. All right. I will see you guys later. Peace out.